Welcome to the 23rd episode of Hell in a Hallway. Your favorite host, your favorite therapist and author, Billy. Just kidding. Really not kidding. But anyway, thank you for joining in this morning. Well, it's morning to me because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm doing this crazy challenge where I have to upload 25 videos in a 48-hour period. And because I still have to work like a job, I have to do this super early so I can get it done before I'm actually starting to work, right? But today's episode, so I can get into it real quick, is on leadership. I have been in several positions of leadership in my history and have grown throughout multiple of those positions, grown in various ways. But I want to be able to talk to you a little bit about leadership because that's what I hear is one of the biggest problems. And typically I get brought on because of a particular leadership issue. And many times what we don't realize is that the problem with a culture usually begins at the top. Okay. But we're going to talk about the type of leader that you are. And it's the differences between being a coach and a dictator. All right. So those are not the same thing. But tune in for the rest of these episodes because these are going to kind of be broken up, right? This leadership one is broken up in 3 parts. So bring yourself back. Have some little tea with me. You have tea, I'm out of coffee. But anyhow, did you know that 58% of managers, according to Forbes magazine, do not receive training on leadership? Is that not insane? No. Just because you're good at what you do doesn't mean you can lead a team. And the other thing, too, these are for people who are higher than their managers or their directors. You have to decide what is it that you really want from your leaders, right? If you want somebody to put a stamp of approval on everything that you do, you don't want a leader. You really don't. But let's carry on. Let's get back to coaching versus dictatorship. You really want to be a strong coach for people who work for you or work with you. And here's the thing you should know. I should actually mention this. Being a leader doesn't actually always mean you're in a position of leadership. I have had people work for me for years who I consider leaders and who are not in positions of leadership. Okay? So, coaches tend to bring out the best in others, right? A king gives commands. How many people you work with, all they know how to do is you do this, you do this, you do this. They don't bother explaining anything. They don't process. They don't develop you. See, as a leader, I am a developer. I love to develop people. I want to see people's process come from inside out. And a lot of times, employers struggle with the time it might take to shift the culture from inside out. See, there are some employers who really believe that if you throw down the hammer, you get productive employees. Nah, that's not what happens. You get people who do minimum amount required. That's what you get. So anyway, you have to understand how even you grow as a leader, right? And as a leader, you have to determine how other people grow. I will sit with any individuals and we will talk about where they find their opportunities for improvement. What do they want to develop? What makes them come alive? And since I'm in the field of mental health, right? So I ask people, why are you in this? What is this doing for you? My sole purpose is to help people develop their gifts, right? That's what I want from people. And I want people to kind of believe in who I am, right? And what does that mean? That means I am going to be consistent in what I'm saying. That means that I am going to support them, right? That's what that's going to look like. One of the biggest things to remember is don't make a team completely dependent on you. No, you have to foster them, right? Foster that team so they can bring forth solutions on their own. I remember even saying to a team member or having team members come back and say to me, hey, I got to ask you a question, but here's my solution first. I love it. I love it. Because what's that saying is they are taking the time to process the problem. And many times that means they don't even have to bring the problem to you, making your work a little bit easier, right? But if you make the team completely dependent on you for every single little thing, you are not serving them. See, the idea that you develop people to be leaders themselves, The idea that you develop them, that you are not the end all be all, that we all are in this together. That's where people thrive, right? Don't make them completely dependent on you, right? The other thing too is, like, when you're a leader, you can make dead things come alive, right? And that's only if you're a good leader, or you can like make things worse, right? And really tear your team apart. And in order to make a dead thing come alive, you have to have a level of vulnerability. Ooh, I just cursed. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. I am willing to tell my team when I failed. And I have, and it sucks. Does not feel good, but it's an absolute must. So one thing I want you to be able to take away, these particular videos, because it's a crazy challenge I'm doing, is relatively short. So they're going to be small takeaways I want you to be able to have, to be able to develop and foster when you're in your own workplace, right? So number one, be a coach. Number two, be vulnerable. That's your big gift. Number three, find out what others need to grow. You know what thing I'll add? I just thought about number four. Ask people what their feedback style is. I ask them, how do you like feedback? Some people like feedback direct. Hey, that's not cool. That's messed up. Let me tell you how you should do this. Some people like that. Some people don't want to be kind of built up. Then there's people who want to say, hey, I'm going to make up a name. Hey, Jane, you're doing really good. These are these areas. I love the way you process these reports. I love the way you manage this particular team. But here are some areas for improvement I really need us to focus on and work on. See, some people do well in a more sandwich, less direct approach. And I have people give me either or. Not everybody is a direct person. Not everybody likes it, right? I'm a kind of person who really, I want to be able to hear it directly, but I want to hear it directly in a way I can hear it. And what does that mean? We'll talk about that a little bit in the next segment. So again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Be a Coach, Not a Dictator. Thank you for joining in the Hell in the Hallway, and I'll see you next time.